Welcome to another episode of Legacy of a Soap Star. Today, we're celebrating the unforgettable Marj Dusay, an actress whose presence shaped daytime television across 5 major soaps. She didn't just play characters, she elevated them. From iron-willed matriarchs to deliciously complicated socialites, Marj brought elegance, edge, and emotional depth to every role.
It's so important that we do this deep dive on her. I mean, when you really look at the list of roles she took on, and not just the roles, but the immense pressure that came with them, she was often stepping into the shoes of icons. She was really the ultimate utility player of high-stakes drama.
That is the perfect way to put it, utility player.
Yeah.
You called her when you needed instant gravitas.
And a hint of controlled chaos, absolutely.
So that's our mission today, really, to unpack that unique versatility. We're talking about an actress who could move just effortlessly across the whole entertainment spectrum. I mean, from the very foundations of American comedy, sci-fi cult classics, all the way to winning a prestigious film award in Spain.
While anchoring multiple corporate dynasties on television, the contrast is just fascinating.
It really is. And what's so interesting is that Dusay was already this, seasoned high-caliber performer long before she even touched daytime in 1983.
Oh, yeah. To really get her intensity, her theatrical power, you have to go back. You have to look at the foundation she built.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's unpack this right from the beginning.
Right.
She was born Marjorie Ellen Mahoney on February 20, 1936, from Hays, Kansas.
So a Midwestern pragmatism, you might say.
Exactly. But her professional career really launched in a totally different world, the experimental cultural scene of the mid-1960s.
And this is crucial. In 1967, she wasn't just, doing standard plays. She was a core member of The Session.
Which was a major improvisational comedy group in Los Angeles.
Right. And you have to think about the skill set that requires. We're talking top-tier improv, quick wit, perfect timing, and the ability to just inhabit any character instantly.
And the sources confirm this group was a massive launching pad for talent.
Oh, huge.
Her fellow members included people who would become huge stars, like Rob Reiner and Richard Dreyfuss.
Wow.
So that foundational work, that rapid character development and sharp comedic delivery, that's exactly what let her shift so seamlessly later on television. She never felt stiff, she always felt alive.
And that versatility translated to the screen very, very quickly. Her earliest known film role, it was small, uncredited, but it put her right next to the biggest star on the planet.
Elvis Presley.
Elvis himself. She played a waitress in the 1967 film Clambake.
From there, she just did the work. The hard work of building a career through episodic television. She was establishing this reputation as someone who could deliver, glamorous danger in any genre.
And she was everywhere. Westerns like Cimarron Strip and Bonanza.
Spy shows like The Wild Wild West and Get Smart.
And she really started to develop that specific character type she became known for. Look at her run on Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, right. She appeared 3 times.
3 times, playing 3 different but similar roles. All variations on the sophisticated, seductive temptress. Baroness von Krim, Countess Marlene, Heidi Eberhardt.
She had that immediate, glamorous presence that producers just rely on, to inject high-stakes romance or menace into an established cast.
Which, of course, brings us to the role that really cemented her cult status decades before her soap fame.
And one that is still instantly recognizable to a massive fan base.
Star Trek.
Star Trek. The year was 1968, and the episode was Spock's Brain.
Which is notoriously absurd, but iconic. A totally iconic installment.
And she was right at the center of all that strangeness. She played the alien Kara, a member of the Imorg, who
kidnapped Spock's brain for, technological purposes.
It's the absolute definition of a cult classic. Her character's actions, literally removing the brain, led to one of the most quotable lines in original Star Trek history.
The line that came right after what she did. Brain and brain, what is brain?
It's hilarious in context, but it points to how memorable that performance was. The character was so unforgettable that Dusay became a fixture at Star Trek conventions for decades.
So she had already established this foundation as a performer who could create these instantly iconic, high-impact roles, no matter how brief or strange the material was.
Now, this is where her career trajectory gets even more interesting, because it shows the true breadth of her talent. While she's finding fame in this mass-market world of syndicated TV, she later earns this incredibly high-level artistic acclaim in a completely different genre.
We have to talk about her later film work, specifically the 2001 independent art slasher film, A Chronicle of Corpses.
Right, and this was not some commercial project. This was challenging, cinematic, independent material for the art house circuit.
And she was by all accounts, stunning in it. Her performance as Grandmother Elliot brought her just immense critical praise. The sources say the film was named one of the top 10 movies of the year.
By both the New York Times and the Village Voice.
That's huge. It just underscores her ability to thrive completely outside that commercial bubble.
And the recognition for her performance went global. She won the Silver Unicorn for Best Actor at a film festival in Spain in 2002.
Think about that time frame for a second. At the same time, she is the reigning corporate diva on Guiding Light.
And also the terrifying, critically acclaimed grandmother in an indie art house slasher winning awards in Europe.
The range is just... it's astonishing.
It is. That ability to appeal to the mass daytime audience and the highbrow international critics, that's what sets her apart. That ability to ground the absurd, to elevate the melodrama, it made her invaluable when she finally committed to daytime.
And when she entered that world, she did not start easy. In 1983, she immediately faced what might be the hardest job in acting.
Which is what?
Stepping into an established, beloved, and highly complex role. A recast.
And this is where it gets really interesting. It takes us to Washington, D.C. and the political drama capital.
Right. Dusay made her soap debut in April 1983. She takes over the role of the powerful Washington matriarch, Myrna Clegg.
And she wasn't replacing just anybody.
No, she replaced the legendary Carolyn Jones.
Morticia Adams.
The one and only. Jones had originated Myrna in 1982, but had to leave in early 83 because of her ongoing battle with cancer. So Dusay steps in right as the show is really hitting its stride.
And the sources make it clear, Myrna Clegg was central to the entire show. She was the complex, scheming matriarch of the Clegg clan.
And the constant bitter rival of the kinder Clarissa McCandless, who was played by the equally powerful Constance Towers.
The pressure must have been intense. Myrna wasn't some secondary character. She was woven into the fabric of the show's political maneuvering.
She was in practically every major plotline. She was paired with veteran film actor Richard Egan. Dusay had to inject instant chemistry and believable malice into a role that had been defined by a legend.
And she absolutely mastered it. Her performance was commanding. She managed to keep the character's complexity, showing the vulnerability of this woman clinging to power while, executing these schemes that drove the whole story.
And the industry recognized it. They recognized this masterclass in recasting almost immediately. She got 2 Soap Opera Digest nominations for it.
One in 1986 and another in 1988, which just proves she didn't just survive the recast. She made the character completely her own. And she stayed with Capitol right until its final episode in March 1987.
So, having proven she could handle the political intrigue of a DC matriarch,
she was immediately tapped to inject that same kind of danger into the wealthy world of California.
Which moves us to her second major soap, Santa Barbara, and the illustrious Capwell family. She played Pamela Pepperidge Capwell Conrad.
And she took over that role from Shirley Ann Field, appearing in 87 and 88, and then came back for a bit in 1991.
And you can see the pattern already forming. She's playing women who aren't just wealthy, but who are fundamentally troubled by their past and prone to extreme emotional reactions.
Absolutely. The drama with Pamela was rooted in deep psychological instability. Her relationship with Cece had ended badly, which the sources say triggered some pretty significant mental health issues.
And this all culminated in a storyline involving a traumatic attack where she tried to harm Kelly, who was married to Pamela's son, Jeffrey. This wasn't quiet instability. This was full-blown, high-stakes soap tragedy.
Right. And her brief return in 1991 showed how unpredictable she still was. She arrives back in Santa Barbara, seems all recovered and composed.
But then during a dinner at CC's house, she just relapses. She slides right back into that instability.
That quick shift from polished socialite to dangerous manipulator was becoming her specialty.
And these 2 roles, Myrna Clegg and Pamela Capwell Conrad, they were the perfect training ground for the character that would ultimately define her career.
This is where we arrive at the apex, Alexandra Spaulding on Guiding Light.
Yes. If Dusay was known as the go-to utility player before, she was about to become synonymous with one of the greatest Dynasty characters ever written.
This was her longest and most iconic role. She played Alexandra across multiple long stints. 93 to 97, a quick return in 98, 99.
And then her final epic run from 2002 until the absolute final episode of Guiding Light in September 2009, she was there for the curtain call.
And once again, like with Capitol, she's facing immense pressure. The executive producer, Jill Farron Phelps, brought her in, trusting her. But Alexandra Spaulding she was Beverly McKenzie.
A daytime legend. So the question was, how do you follow that kind of iconic performance and still make the character your own?
And she did it through nuance. through showing the vulnerability underneath that, granite exterior. Dusay herself said she loved the storylines that let Alexandra show power, intelligence, and also the gift of tongue-in-cheek.
And crucially, to explore the vulnerability of love. She really appreciated playing a woman her age who was allowed to show immense strength.
That focus on strength combined with emotional depth is exactly what resonated. She wasn't just a corporate villain. She was a woman fighting for respect in a world dominated by her brother.
And that blend earned her one of the highest honors in daytime. In 1995, a Daytime Emmy nomination for Outstanding Lead Actress.
Yeah, it was the validation. Her interpretation of the Spalding diva was powerful and critically resonant.
So let's get into the roots of Alexandra's villainy, because that family was built on a foundation of generational trauma.
Oh, absolutely. Her difficult childhood was spent constantly alternating between feuding with and supporting her brother, Alan, against their tyrannical, domineering father, Brandon Spalding.
Imagine growing up in that environment. That's what forged her. A woman who craved power, who ran away to marry a Baron Leo von Halken, only to divorce him and come back to Springfield with this international pedigree and a massive chip on her shoulder.
And her true calling was always the corporate battlefield. Alexandra was a central power figure, repeatedly holding the title of CEO or President of Spalding Enterprises. The sources even call her tenures in the 80s and 90s a golden era for the company.
Mostly due to her sheer dominance and her often ruthless strategic mind.
But the real engine of the show, and of Alexandra's emotional life, was her dynamic with her brother Alan.
It was the definition of a complicated love-hate relationship that lasted until his death. Relentless theatrical battles for corporate control.
But then also these moments of deep, private confession and loyalty. It was so complex.
And those corporate battles were not just, hostile takeovers. They were full-blown criminal conspiracies. Early on, Alexandra was the one who turned Alan in to the FBI for the Dreaming Death conspiracy.
She wasn't afraid to use the law against her own brother.
And when she wasn't turning him in, she was running schemes against him. In one of the most theatrical plots of the era, she drugged him after he had a heart attack and tried to drive him completely insane.
It was daytime drama at its most unhinged.
But Alan was just as ruthless. He tricked her into confessing to other crimes, like the stalking and harassment of Reva Shane.
And that confession was his leverage. He used it to push her out of the CEO role and relegate her to the pharmaceuticals division.
And what does Alexandra do when she's relegated? She immediately gets involved in the illegal trading of the antimonious drug ring. She just cannot exist without having her hands on some massive source of power, legal or illegal.
And even all that rivalry, it was still so complicated. Alan, despite everything, genuinely tried to save her from prosecution in that drug ring case.
But when that failed, she tried to frame Frank Cooper instead, which of course backfired spectacularly and landed her in jail.
Her personal life was just as chaotic. She was reunited with her long-lost son, Lou Jack.
Only for him to tragically die in an explosion.
And then she discovers Lou Jack's twin, Nick McHenry, and immediately alienates him with her constant meddling in his life, especially with Mindy Lewis. She was a mother who loved fiercely, but her manipulative instincts just push her family away.
And then the marriage that nobody saw coming. After a plane crash, stranded on a desert island with Roger Thorpe,
she marries him.
She marries Roger Thorpe, a predictably disastrous union that ended in public humiliation and blackmail.
And we cannot forget her final major storyline. This was pure late-era soap absurdity mixed with high-stakes crime. In 2007, she marries her much younger chauffeur, Cyrus Foley.
And why? Because she needed to commit several crimes to keep him in the country and away from Marina Cooper.
The audacity. It just proves that for Alexandra Spalding, no scheme was too big or too small. Seizing a billion-dollar company or manipulating immigration laws for her chauffeur husband, it was all the same to her.
It is noted that she found a softer landing in the show's final year. She became more of a stabilizing force, surprisingly offering advice to her family. A quiet end for a character who specialized in hard edges.
But before that gentle final chapter, Dusay took a pivotal detour to originate a completely new villainess. Maybe her most malicious and memorable one.
Vanessa Bennett on All My Children.
This was a totally different challenge. She was building this character from the ground up. She played Vanessa from 1999 to 2002, creating this glamorous, deeply troubled figure who's instantly connected to the biggest players in Pine Valley.
David Hayward, Leo Dupress.
Vanessa's arrival in Pine Valley in January '99 was just instant high drama. She's introduced at a fundraiser, and then while walking to her car, She just collapses, clutching her chest.
And the sources highlight the immediate dysfunction. Dr. David Hayward is nearby, and it's revealed he's her son, but he flat out refused to assist her.
A son refusing to save his mother. That tells you everything you need to know about their relationship right there.
Luckily, Joe Martin was there to save her life.
And then the bounce check she wrote for Erica's charity immediately showed her desperation. She was broke, manipulative, and cloaking it all in glamour.
And Dusay's Vanessa quickly established herself as this spectacular, unforgettable villain, especially in how she dealt with Erica Kane.
This confrontation is notorious. After Erica's car accident, which left her face horribly disfigured, everyone was protecting her from the truth. But Vanessa became obsessed.
The sources reveal this chilling psychology. Vanessa hated that Erica was so well off, but secretly adored that her beauty had been taken from her.
She couldn't stand Erica's power, but she was drawn to her suffering.
And she chose the most brutal possible moment to strike. She took it upon herself to shatter the illusion, telling Erica her face was horribly disfigured.
And the cruelty didn't stop. When Erica agreed to a televised interview, Vanessa immediately alerted all the tabloids, ensuring the public spectacle of Erica's damaged face became front-page news. It was pure psychological warfare.
And bizarrely, this malicious honesty sort of endeared her to Erica for a minute. Erica took the broke Vanessa in as a house guest, a decision she immediately regretted.
Of course, because Vanessa started trying to take over her life, even ghostwriting a tell-all book about her. Once Erica found out, Vanessa was booted.
Which led her straight into the arms and the marriage of Palmer Courtland. But even marriage couldn't stabilize her. She starts funneling money to a younger man, Leo Dupress,
who Palmer thought was her lover.
Right. So Palmer plots this fatal confrontation, but in one of the show's biggest twists, Vanessa reveals at the last second that Leo is actually her son.
Palmer jumps in front of her, takes the bullet, and Vanessa uses Palmer's murder plot as leverage against him for months.
But the truly dark core of her character emerged with Paolo Caselli, a shady character from her past who threatened to expose her. Vanessa inadvertently caused his death by over-sedating him.
And here is the truly shocking crime.
She let her own son, Leo, get arrested for the murder.
All because she was afraid of losing her financial free ride with Palmer, valuing wealth over her own child's freedom. That solidifies Vanessa as a genuine monster in society's silks.
She only confessed after David tricked her into it, but the real reveal came in mid to late 2001.
When she was unmasked as Proteus, Pine Valley's powerful, secret drug lord.
This just escalated her villainy from domestic schemer to high-stakes criminal mastermind.
And as the authorities closed in, she lost her grip entirely. This led to a series of shocking, violent crimes. It included a tragic end for her chauffeur, Larry, with whom she was having an affair.
After Larry failed to carry out a hit, Vanessa killed him with a powerful drug, hid his body in a trunk, and dumped it in Willow Lake. It was cold-blooded.
Her final campaign of revenge was just utterly cinematic. She drugged Maggie Stone, held her hostage. She drugged Greenlee and Jake on a sinking ship. She was just relentless.
Her attempts to avoid charges became more and more bizarre. She faked a split personality, Rosie Wells, then another one, Nessa, her supposed good side.
But the ultimate betrayal came from family. Her lawyer, Trey Kenyon, was revealed to be her son, whom she'd given up, and he had been plotting against her the whole time.
The final fatal confrontation in October 2002 is one of the most dramatic exits in soap history. Vanessa kidnaps Greenlee, demands diamonds. They meet at Miller's Falls.
And when Leo realizes his mother intends to harm his wife, he makes the ultimate sacrifice. He grabs Vanessa and jumps with her off the falls, both presumed dead.
What a way to go out. She earned the fan-voted Special Fan Award for America's favorite villain that year. The audience absolutely loved to hate her.
Before we sum everything up, we have to briefly acknowledge her time on Days of Our Lives because it really highlights her professionalism.
That's right. In 1993, right before Guiding Light, she stepped in as a temporary replacement for the iconic Louise Sorel as Vivian Alamein.
And that stint wasn't about defining a character. It was about proving her reliability. She could seamlessly take on a high-profile, highly theatrical recast without skipping a beat.
It just confirms that when producers needed a powerful, established performer who could inhabit a complex role instantly, Marj Dusay was the one you called.
So when you look across this entire career, Capital, Santa Barbara, Guiding Light, Days of Our Lives, All My Children, she achieved something truly exceptional. She's one of the very few actresses to successfully navigate 5 major soaps.
Her strength was her consistency and her adaptability. She knew Alexandra needed that corporate poise, while Vanessa required sheer, cold-blooded nerve. She embodied the corporate diva, the high society manipulator, and the dangerous villain, sometimes all in the same episode.
And the industry recognized that star quality relentlessly. Her Daytime Emmy nomination for Guiding Light, the multiple Soap Opera Digest nominations.
And crucially, that fan-voted award for favorite villain, and of course the Silver Unicorn for her film work. That's a list of accolades that spans genres and continents.
Beyond the screen, her off-screen legacy reveals a woman who is deeply committed to important social causes.
The sources mention the personal tragedy in her life, like the death of her son, Randy, from AIDS in 1993. And that private grief really galvanized her commitment to philanthropy.
Starting in 1984, she sponsored the Marj Dusay Celebrity Golf Tournament in Russell, Kansas. This was a serious, ongoing commitment.
And that event raised funds for the Kansas Child Abuse Prevention Centers, and it helped establish a statewide hotline. She used her platform to make a genuine, real-world impact.
Marj Dusay died at the age of 83 in Manhattan on January 28, 2020. But the characters she inhabited, especially Alexandra Spaulding and Vanessa Bennett, they remain truly unforgettable.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture of daytime television, her career really gives us this vital insight into the mechanics of soap opera power. I mean, why was she the one? The perennial, trusted choice for the most powerful and unpredictable matriarchs in daytime history.
I think it was that unique combination of theatricality and credibility. She had the gravitas to sit at the head of a dynasty, but she always had that subtle glint in her eye that suggested she could, orchestrate a drug ring or try to drive her own brother insane.
Exactly. She made the absurd feel sophisticated. She represented the perfect blend of high society poise and sheer cold-blooded nerve.
Marj Dusay's legacy is one of grace, power, and unforgettable storytelling. Her characters may have lived in the world of daytime drama, but her impact lives on in the hearts of viewers. Thank you for joining me for this tribute. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And tell me what classic soap star should we dive into next time.